and a pragmatist, so I think Christianity works better. Christianity has better outcomes
Then
the alternatives.
all of them?
No, most of them. I think that there's a small number of people that can handle atheism, and I know all of you. And I'm friends with all of them.
Okay, here we are. Where are we, sir?
We are in Santa Barbara at the Hilton.
And what is your name?
Michael Shermer.
And what is your name, sir?
Michael Shellenberger.
Wow, so
That's so similar. Wow.
two Michaels and two very good friends of mine. So that's amazing how that works out. And we're going to do a
Wait,
little...
you said I was your best friend, not...
best friend? Oh, no, I got busted already. So we're going to do a little Spectrum Street Epistemology.
Okay.
And we're going to start off with the claim: Christianity is a better bulwark against woke than humanism.
So easy.
Move.
That's a no-brainer. All right.
Wow.
That's soft.
Wow, really? Okay, grab the board.
Okay.
Grab the board. Wow, right out of the gate. Okay, write down your best reason for believing that Christianity is a bulwark, a better bulwark.
Yeah.
So don't show him, Michael. Don't show him. Take a guess at what his best reason for believing that is.
Because Christians have a sense of right and wrong that is absolute and objective, they believe, and therefore wokeness, which is based on more moral relativism, doesn't work.
Wow, that is so interesting.
Is that don't tell him the reason, but
Okay.
is that correct?
No.
Is his reason better or worse than the one you have written here?
Worse. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. We're all
I
friends
love you,
here.
but no.
We're all friends here. Okay, so don't show him.
Okay.
Don't show him. I want you to guess what his reason is that he wrote down.
Because only a secular alternative to wokeism can undermine wokeism.
Is that correct?
Say it again, only a secular...
Because only a secular, not a religious alternative can undermine and replace wokeism.
Yeah, kind of. That's kind of what I'm
Kind
gonna
of.
have to...
Don't.
Yeah, I
don't
won't
do-
say it. Say
So
yeah.
it's kind of.
It's kind of flipped about what Christianity is not doing as opposed to what secularism is doing, which I think is... I like what he said better than what I wrote.
You like his answer better than what you have.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm going to give you another opportunity to guess what he has on the board. Like,
Well,
why,
maybe,
why would
okay,
someone believe that?
I will come up with sort of a political Christianity.
Okay.
That is to say, it's organized enough to push back against the woke movement, to actually boots on the ground, do something about it.
Is what he said correct?
No.
Okay. Can you please share your answer with him?
Sure.
What is it?
Should I read it?
Yeah.
Because the decline of Christianity resulted in the nihilism that led to wokeism.
What do
That's
you?
pretty good, actually. Yes, that's a testable hypothesis. Okay.
Okay. So before we make that claim, I'm going to grab this from you.
Sure.
Can you please show him your answer?
Yeah, mine is Christian. I didn't write it very well. Christianity is not universal ethics to include all people, and it's too, what I really meant to say. It's too divisive. It's too judgmental.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go over that one in a second. I'm going to grab this. The decline of Christianity resulted in the nihilism that led to wokeism. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move.
On this one.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'll move this way a little bit.
Okay, so if you slightly disagree with that, is that consistent with the position of you
I
being
may
on?
even go one more.
Okay.
Because I happen to be a moral realist. I think there is right and wrong. I think there's objective reality, and I think the woke movement is simply wrong about what they think is true. And so at least the Christians have a sense of right and wrong. I don't think grounding it in supernatural beliefs is the right way. Secular humanism, Spinoza and Kant and so on, that's the way to ground it. But at least we have that common ground. There is a right and wrong. There is a reality. And the wokesters don't know what that is.
Do you agree with his analysis?
No.
Okay, what reason is he missing?
I think that morality is subjective.
What? Really?
Yeah, of course.
I'm so surprised to hear you say that.
You're surprised?
I'm surprised to hear him say
Why?
that morality is, because most Christians, most religious people, this is their core argument, that without God, there's no objective basis of morality. Then it's subjective.
And Michael is a Christian. Well, I should be. What am I asking you for? Michael, you're
Christian
a Christian.
existentialist.
You're a Christian existentialist. Okay.
Or existentialist Christian.
Okay, so, and you believe morality...
And a pragmatist, so I think Christianity works better. Christianity has better outcomes
than
the alternatives.
all of them?
No, most of them. I think that there's a small number of people that can handle atheism, and I know all of you. And I'm friends with all of them.
Yeah.
But no, I think that, and like Sufism, Reform Judaism. There's certainly, some kinds of Buddhism that are able to sort of embrace the tragedy and suffering of life, but also be redemptive and grateful and transcendent and provide people with the purpose and meaning that they need so that they can behave in moral ways in the world. But I also think that my understanding of what's moral and not moral is a consequence of intersubjective and subjective views. I don't think that you can. I agree with Hume. You can't derive an ought from an is.
You have any comment on that?
Yeah, Mr. Hume, tear down this wall. Come on, we can derive oughts from the way things are. That people would rather be satiated than starving. They'd rather be free than enslaved. They'd rather be healthy rather than diseased. We know what leads to human flourishing. You can objectively measure it. And then you can see which systems lead to more human flourishing. Democracy versus autocracy, free markets versus controlled markets and economies, and so on.
Do you have a comment?
We're getting to the next session already, but we're dealing with the reality that you have Democrats in the United States went from 40% to 70% in support of government censorship of online speech between 2018 and 2023. What led Democrats to reject freedom? Was it because, I think it was because the subjective argument for freedom was not properly made, and they saw no need for free speech, and that for us to make the case for free speech, we have to explain to people. I think this is where I come into the last half. You have to make the case for freedom of speech. It's not obvious to people. It seemed obvious, but it no longer seemed obvious to people after the Trump election, particularly why free speech was an absolute value and an inalienable right. And we had to, I think, go through a moment where we saw the potential of tyranny from censorship for us to re-embrace free speech.
Because each generation has to relearn it. It's not in the DNA.
I think it's actually quite the opposite. I think it's an evolved, I think it requires I think free speech requires slow thinking. It requires rationality. It requires discourse. It requires dialogue. But that the intuitive, the deeper reptilian parts of ourselves is tyrannical and tribal. And we have to experience the consequences of that tyrannical and reptilian brain for us to appreciate freedom and free speech.
Do you have a comment on that, or we do?
I do, and if it's just the pragmatist stuff, I will move one more over here.
Wow!
Free speech.
Wow!
Free speech.
Oh, wow!
Because I'm a free speech almost absolutist.
I'm just gonna come over here just to give you a hug. And I'm just
because at least
here's a sign of good faith.
Okay.
I still strongly agree, but
Okay.
I want to be closer to.
But I will remind
All right.
the audience, that it wasn't that long ago, a few decades, when the Christians and conservatives were censoring speech, songs, expressions, and so on. Madonna's videos were immoral, and so on. So the roles have flipped a little bit. So common cause, okay, good. But that idea that of free speech as kind of a fundamental right that grounds all other rights, that's kind of a universal idea that should apply everywhere to all people. And secular humanism, that's what we champion, is universal principles that apply to everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. So to the extent that Christians are pulling in that direction, that's good. but they didn't used to be that way.
That's right.
Because of our reptilian brain, just kind of this tribalism. That's that leads you to want to censor people.
And by
that
the
are
way,
not
can I
like
say
you.
those were bad Christians?
Those are bad Christians.
Because remember, the most important thing that Jesus says is, "You have heard it said that you should love your friends and hate your enemies. I say unto you that you should love your enemies." That is, for me, the most important passage. That's the most important thing Jesus said, and it's the most important phrase in all of Christianity. And so for people to suggest that we should hate enemies is a deeply unchristian value. And so they're betraying their Christianity in spirit, if not in name.
Just as an aside, that's in Plato's Republic when he talks about beating a horse makes it worse. So it's like, so it's that precedes Christianity. So there is
Yes.
in the Republic. I want to do another claim.
Jesus is plagiarizing, is what you're saying?
Well-
Jesus is a plagiarist?
I wouldn't say plagiarism, but I think the Sermon on the Mount is.
But let me address one more thing. In the context of this kind of pragmatic theory of truth, Ian Herseyali's now famous,
Yes.
why I am now a Christian instead of an atheist is because basically the woke people are, ruining everything. At least the Christians can do something about this. Come on. And so Andrew Sullivan, who is a Catholic and Christian, he kind of upbraided her as like, you should believe because it's true, not because it has practical political consequences.
That's
for
the
it.
question that I have now.
Yeah.
It is reasonable to believe in Christianity solely because of the benefits. Move.
Yeah. I'll go slightly.
I'm happy where I am.
Okay. Why do you?
Well, because my commitment to truth is that it should be actually true. That is, reality is that which, when you stop believing in it, doesn't go away. If you stop believing in Christianity, then you're going to abandon the other things that you embraced. So you should embrace those other principles by themselves, regardless of the Christian affiliation, because they're true in some objective, measurable way. So it's a step. At least they're moving in the right direction, but we could do better than that.
There's not enough epistemic humility in that, because what we thought was true throughout human history, as you know, we now view as false. And so you must, not everything, but we don't know what gravity is. We don't know how it works. We don't understand the quantum realm. We don't really understand the beginning of the universe. We tell a story about it that almost certainly will be a different story in 100 or 200 years. So I think you have to allow more epistemic humility, again, just in a very basic Humean form of our ability to apprehend reality. We don't have the human mind is not a mirror of nature.
Okay. Yes. Epistemic humility, intellectual humility. That's good. That's another core secular humanist principle.
Sufficient to cause you to move to neutral or no?
No, because I think we could do. I mean, for example, we used to believe this, now we don't. Well, how likely is it that slavery will return to
There's
nations?
the moral arc.
Yeah, there's a moral arc. I mean, are there any countries that are going to repeal the right for women to vote? Not likely. Once you get that step, it's not likely to go back.
Iran.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's going to be 2 or 3, but
Iran, yeah.
in 1919, there was only one country on earth that had allowed women to vote, and then there was this huge burst in the 20s, and now all women can vote in all countries except one, Saudi Arabia, I guess, and yeah, so that's not going to return. There's a reason that happened. It's not random. It's not cultural relativism. Oh, this century we allowed women to vote, and the next century maybe they won't be allowed to vote. That's not going to happen, because it's a true human value that people should be treated equally, including men and women.
New claim. In the United States, the right is a threat to liberal democracy.
Depends on which. Are you counting?
Yeah. It's a little bit tricky.
Counting MAGA right, or let's say
Yeah.
John McCain kind of right, because John McCain kind of right. No, it's good for democracy.
Broadly the right.
Yeah, I'm going to go a threat. Yeah, I'll go over slightly agree. Depends who it is.
Yeah.
It depends who it is.
I mean, it's like this could be one of these things where just for this decade or 20 years, there's this little blip, and then we return to the way conservatives used to be. Say 1980s, 1990s conservatives, Bob Dole conservative.
Right,
That's completely different than what we have now. So I can't tell if this is a trend, this is the direction we're going. and this is going to lead to hell, or this is just a little blip in the system and conservatives will regain their rationality.
I'm going to give you last word, and I'm going to do a lightning round.
I think it's not clear what we mean by the right.
Yeah. That's fair enough. It was poorly worded. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. There is life in the universe. There's a non-terrestrial, non-human life in the universe. Move.
Oh, well, yeah. Very likely. Very, very likely. I don't know 100%. But
Well,
yeah,
oh.
I'm a little surprised.
I'll go agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is
Given I'm the aliens guy.
there is intelligent life in the universe. Move.
Well, yeah, that I don't slightly agree with that. But the universe is probably teeming with life that's bacterial grade or pretty low.
Yeah.
You know, the chance of getting all the steps up to us, pretty slim.
Like
so,
the great filter.
Yeah, the great filter. There's a bunch of filters. So,
Okay.
but you know, the numbers are big, so they're probably out there somewhere.
Okay. There is spacefaring life in the universe. Move.
Yeah, I'll just to the right of the.
No.
I'll just stay where I am.
Okay.
I think that's also possible, but just narrowing down the numbers.
Okay. The United States government, some branch, something in the United States, black ops.
This is always headed towards aliens. All roads lead to aliens.
They're out there on that island.
The United States government, at some faction or branch or black off books or something, is in possession of alien technology. Move.
I'm going to go all the way over to here. Yeah, not impossible, but
I'm actually quite surprised,
well, I'll change. My
given
mind.
that I've listened to like 4 of your podcasts.
No,
Surprised it's not all the way on the
I'm usually over here.
Yeah, I've
but
listened to
because
so many
Michael
of your.
says he
yeah.
knows somebody.
gravity. I'm pulling him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael says he knows somebody, so and I
I'm
trust.
neutral though.
Yeah.
But he's
Okay.
neutral.
Yeah. I guess. All right. Who did you talk to? And show us where does he live? Let's go interview him. The guy who saw the alien.
Do you think, as a reporter, do you think I'm going to reveal my sources?
But we're all friends. You trust him. You know he's
Yes,
not bullshitting
yes,
us.
that's right. Yeah. Well, so my thought is, he could be completely telling the truth. The guy that he's talking to thinks he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
He saw something he could not identify. It looked off-world to him. That could be all true, and it still just be some black ops DARPA project that he didn't know about.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Michael is not claiming this, but let's say he said this guy took me to the Area 51 or whatever and showed me. It's like, holy shit. If he said that right now, what line would you be on?
Well, if it's so, this is kind of subjective. You know, if it's Bob Lazar, I'm not moving.
Right.
But if it's Michael Shellenberger, okay, I'll move one.
You
Just
move
because-
one.
Yeah.
Well,
I love you too, Michael.
Well, because we still that's not enough to tip over.
because it
into
could
the-
be some high tech
could be-
secret stuff
that's
that
right,
we
yeah.
sold from the Chinese or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm a little surprised that you're on the neutral, given that you've talked to people. We only have 1 more minute. I'm a little surprised that you're on the neutral, given that you've talked to people who have, and you said this on Michael's podcast.
Yeah.
It's not that you talk to people who know a guy who knows a guy.
Right.
It's like you've talked to people who have seen it and been there.
Yes.
That's the difference. So why would that not move you to the slightly agree or even agree?
Well, not that, but I think that the people I interviewed, I'm 90% confident that they were telling the truth. So I think there's 2 potential explanations. One is that they are disinformation actors, and that they were themselves fooled and then to fool others. And then the other is folkloric contagion, which is a form of social contagion, which is just telling stories.
I guess it would depend who it is. I mean, I've seen enough interviews with David Grush now.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like an agent of disinformation. He doesn't seem confused. I think he's
very
telling
sincere.
Yeah, totally. And I'm sure the people he talked to believed what they told him. But again, that's an extraordinary claim. We have been visited. We got to have more than just the word of, no matter how reliable, like you said, my best friend, but I just need to see it.
Secondhand too.
Yeah. All right.
It's
Let me
secondhand, too.
let me just wrap. We got to go. I just want to say. So I think this is a good example. We touched on some things. We have pretty different beliefs about things, and we're all buddies. Right? I mean, different religious beliefs,
Yeah.
maybe metaphysical. So what I see in this time of acrimony, especially for young people, is people their beliefs have to comport totally. Oh, if you're a little deviant, I can't be friends with you. Like, why not? I mean, if anything, that makes the conversations more interesting, I would think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was it your book Was it your book that you quoted Jefferson? Let friends be
Yeah,
wrong.
that's right. Yeah, that's my favorite line in the
Yeah,
book.
let friends be wrong. Now, of course, your friends don't think they're wrong.
Yeah, right.
So it has to be reciprocal. They have to
Right.
let you be wrong.
Yeah, right. Cool.
It has to go both ways.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Appreciate
Thank
it. Thank you. Thank you.